The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index just fell to the lowest levels since the April tariffs, and before this bull market we have not even seen these low fear levels. We are now on the 10th factor on the Fear and Greed Index, and we've only seen this during market or local bottoms and never at market tops. So this is indeed very different for Bitcoin than we have seen all of the times before. So what is this going to mean for Bitcoin and what is going to be next? That's what we will discuss within today's update video, because Bitcoin is also facing key pivotal resistance and support levels. That's what we need to discuss, the most important price data, the latest news hitting the markets here. I will give a big update on my Bitcoin trading position and also on my Ethereum trading position. So from there guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel, come over and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive into the most important content. Since the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is now showing 10, and that is a level we have not seen in quite a long time. The last time we saw this was during the April tariffs, which marked a major local bottom for Bitcoin. And during this entire bull market, we have never seen the levels drop so low actually. And something interesting is that we've never seen it during a potential market top, like for example 2021, but even back here in 2017, the market top did not correspond with a major fair level, because usually it comes quite unexpected, the forming of a market top, before eventually we head lower. And the market bottoms, when you see the true drawdowns for Bitcoin, everybody thinks, oh, how much deeper are we going to go? That are the levels where we do see those extreme fear levels. So that is quite an interesting difference like we are seeing now. So if this is going to be the market top, it's going to be the first time where we are seeing such a signal occur so fast in the market. So a very interesting data, but I must say, of course, I'm open to the scenario that people now think, because we do know what happened in 2021. Most people are now aware of the 4-year cycles. So maybe because this is indeed the ending of the 4-year cycle, people are super scared that Bitcoins enter a far and far larger bear market now. Open for that idea indeed, but the data is clearly showing that this is indeed a very different scenario for Bitcoin. Also, we have the USDT D, so the USDT dominance now getting rejected from off this pivotal resistance level, and if the USDT point D is going to move lower from here, so if more money is going to flow out of USDT, which is a stablecoin, back into the crypto markets, then we could be expecting a Bitcoin reversal back to the top side. But this is indeed a pivotal level, because now if we are just going to move higher on this index, then indeed more and more money is going to flow back from Bitcoin into stablecoins, back from crypto into stablecoins, and we are likely to see a bigger correction back to the downside. So let's see about exactly that. Bitcoin retesting this pivotal level of support also below the 50 weekly moving average. That is something we have not seen before this bull market, or indeed the wick back above it is something we've always seen, and never the weekly close under the 50 weekly moving average. I don't think Bitcoin is going to be able, to be honest, to today reclaim the 50 weekly moving average, because this is quite a big drawdown to reverse here. It is possible, but then we need to see a Sunday pump. I do think there is likelihood to see some Sunday evening volatility, because the bulls are maybe going to try to push Bitcoin back up here. So let's see about exactly that. Be warned about this, because of course we also have a new CME gap under us at the 94k being left behind this weekend. But this is indeed going to be a very important weekly close, and all of this is going to be happening tonight. Bitcoin now bouncing out of this major support zone which we have been drawing out. We do know that we are trading close to the yearly open, which is normally a very important support level for Bitcoin. There we have seen some resistance and some support in the past also, and we are trading in a high volume zone. So like stated in my earlier videos, if Bitcoin was going to find support, this was going to be the most important zone, and that is playing out exactly like predicted. If Bitcoin is going to fall lower, you're also going to drop into lower volume zones. There's not going to be that much protection from the bulls anymore. So if Bitcoin is going to drop low from here, I think it could go quite fast. So let's see about exactly that. I think this is going to be a very important support level for Bitcoin. And then now we also have officially the dead cross flashing. This is something we have been talking about in a lot of the daily update videos. The dead cross did indeed mark the bottom the last 2 times for Bitcoin, but on the other hand, I do know that every single time during the post halving years, the dead cross does tend to lead into a bear market and not in another market bounce. But if we are going to see a market bounce, and if Bitcoin did create a low here, then I personally think that we can be bouncing much higher and the 4-year cycle is going to be broken. So let's see about exactly that, but history clearly shows us that this is going to be a first signal of the bear market and not really of another bounce back up, because then we are looking into 2024 and 2023, which are of course the bull market years, but not a post-halving years. And historically during the post-halving years, we've always seen the start of a bull market after the dead cross occurs on the chart. So let's see how this will be playing out, but it is indeed not looking that good. On the other hand, if history is going to repeat like 2024 and 2023, then the low is most definitely already, or most probably already in for Bitcoin, because that is what happens after the forming of the dead cross. The dead cross is a lagging indicator, so before the dead cross hits the market, you do already see the biggest drawdown back here to the downside before you eventually bounce back up, because that is usually how lagging indicators work, and that's why you should not make decisions purely based on the dead cross now. But historically we can also see that before the dead cross you also see the biggest drawdown already back to the downside before the true bear market is going to hit. So very important data and some very conflicting signals in the market here. So it is going to be important to stay watching all of the upcoming update videos, to really closely watch today's weekly close, because that's going to be a very important one. And then we are going to figure out where Bitcoin will be heading next in the next few weeks. The RSI for Bitcoin is now also at the lowest level since 2023, which is quite an insane signal. So we are basically back at the levels from where this bull market eventually got started, which is quite a big signal. We dropped below all the other RSI levels we saw during this correction and also the tariffs here. So not really a good signal in my opinion. Bitcoin is indeed heavily oversold, but on the other hand, it can get much more oversold if a bear market is truly going to hit. So how important is the RSI indicator to be here? I don't think it will be that important, but yeah, I think we are just going to look into the weekly close and how Bitcoin is going to perform out of this major support zone. I think those are going to be much more important charts. And now I do want to give a big update on my Bitcoin trading position, because here you can see that now 3 of my Bitcoin positions out of the 4 limit orders I originally had got filled, and unfortunately all of these trades are now in a loss. But I'm not quite worried, to be fair. I personally think that there is still going to be a chance that Bitcoin is going to be bounced back up, but I don't know if I will be holding this Bitcoin trade open for very long. If Bitcoin is going to break back above 100k, 103, 106k, at those levels I might potentially be looking into taking profits on my Bitcoin trade, because I think it is quite a risky position here with the dead cross and all of the other bearish signals I'm currently seeing in the market. So let's see about exactly that, but I will of course keep you guys up to date. And since the beginning I have been saying that this was indeed a very risky Bitcoin position. On the other hand, I do want to be longing the market when everybody is fearful. When of course everybody is fearful, I will try to be greedy. I want to open my positions. That's exactly what I'm doing with my Bitcoin trading position here also. And if you do want to stay updated about my Bitcoin position, make sure to come over to the VIP Telegram channel, because there you can find all of the updates on my Bitcoin and Ethereum trading positions. Find the link in description on this update video. There you can join the private VIP Telegram channel to get updates on my trades, but not only on my trades, also on those of Crypto Rover and 5 professional other traders. So I think there's a lot of value in this group, and come over and make sure you join here, because this is going to be a very important period in the markets where I do want to keep you guys up to date. The big difference here is that I can update in real time in my channels here, which I can't be doing that good on YouTube and X, of course. Here I can just be messaging much more quickly. Now I do want to dive in my Ethereum trading position, because that one is looking a little bit different. I think for Ethereum I had a little bit better limit orders. My 3.1 limit, my 3.1k limit order got filled. Now I'm in a 10k position here. I'm also in a slight little profit. I still keep my limit orders open here at the 2.8k and the 3k levels, because I think from off here we can be bouncing back higher. And Of course, I need to see the Bitcoin bounce, which I was talking about earlier in the update video. Only then I think Ethereum is also going to see a significant bounce back to the top side. Also my Ethereum trade, I don't know exactly how long I will keep this open. I will keep you guys up to date about exactly that, but I'm looking to take profits rather quickly instead of too late, because once the bear market is going to hit, it can go quite fast, of course. But if you do want to join me with my Ethereum trading position, for example, make sure to come over to LBank, because this is going to be one of the last days where you can claim a 50% deposit bonus and a generous refund. So make sure to come over to the link in the description on this update video, because there you can claim the 50% deposit bonus, a $100 voucher, and also a generous refund on your first trading position. Deposit bonus goes up to 2.5k maximum, so definitely an amazing offer from LBank here. And what I do want to highlight is that you do want to claim an offer, in my personal opinion, of course in no way financial advice, but I will be looking into claiming an offer at support and not as resistance, because this is indeed an interesting level to open a long position. It's a risky one, most definitely, but in my opinion an interesting one, because you are longing at support, potentially looking for a move towards the resistance for Ethereum. So definitely quite an amazing offer by LBank. Make sure to come and check it out with the link in the description on this update video. And then I do want to dive back into the Ethereum charts, because Ethereum is finding a little bit of support here of this basically final support level for ETH before I think it's going to drop lower. I think for ETH the most important thing is going to be the reclaim of this range low, because from there you're always looking into a potential move towards the range high back again. But for this, like stated earlier, you do need to see a bullish weekly close for Bitcoin. You do need to see Bitcoin finding a little bit of strength back before Ethereum can also flip more bullish once again. If that's not going to be the case, this is going to be an important support level to hold. If not, Ethereum is probably going to drop lower, and then you're looking into this support level from off this previous range we have been trading in 2021 earlier. So let's see about exactly that, but this is indeed a very important support level for ETH. Another very important support level where we have been bouncing from once again, if the fifth is the 50 weekly moving average for Ethereum. You can clearly see that Ethereum is a little bit stronger here, bouncing from off the 50 weekly moving average, while Bitcoin is now trading quite far below it. So hopefully we can see the continuation of the bounce here, then Ethereum can also move a little bit higher. This is indeed a very important support level for Ethereum, and if Ethereum is also going to drop below these levels, it could get quite ugly, and potentially we are looking into a bear market. So let's see about exactly that. And coming back to Bitcoin for the last time in this update video, the weekly CME futures also closed on the 50 weekly moving average already. We've seen this one time before in 2024, but now it's on quite bigger scale, I must say. So let's see about exactly this. This is not what you do want to see tomorrow for Bitcoin with the weekly close, because I think once Bitcoin is going to see 1 to 2 weekly closes below this 50 weekly moving average, we are potentially looking into a new bear market. So we have some very important days and weeks ahead of us, and guys, I will keep all of you up to date in the update videos in the near future. And also I will be live streaming much more in the near future, because what we are also seeing is that now the US government shutdown is over, and we have some very important economic data coming up for the US economy in the near future. Jobs data, GDP, payrolls, CPI and PPI, inflation data, and of course the new FOMC meeting on the 10th of December. And all of this data is going to help the Fed to make a decision on how much rates they're going to cut, what the rate decision is going to be, because now traders are expecting that the Federal Reserve is not going to cut interest rates in the next meeting. And that is, in my opinion, a big reason why the market has been quite weak here, why we have seen this big downtrend, because here at the top there was about a 90% chance the Fed was going to cut rates in December, and now of course it flipped all the way back to about 45% here, and the market is most definitely not liking that. So all of this important economic data to the FOMC meeting is going to be absolutely critical, and I will be live streaming all of this important data on the channel. So make sure to subscribe now so you won't miss out on this critical information here at this make or break moment for the crypto market. So come over to the channel, subscribe to the channel, watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then I will see you guys within my next update video tomorrow.